You feel it before you can explain it. The tightening in your chest when the room fills up, the subtle urge to find an exit, the way your breathing changes when bodies press too close and noise overlaps noise until it becomes one heavy sound. While others seem energized, even alive in the crowd, you feel like you're slowly disappearing inside it. If you've ever wondered why crowded places drain you, unsettle you, or make you want to vanish without making a scene, this isn't about weakness. It's about how deeply you feel the world. People who hate crowded places are often told they're anxious, antisocial, or overreacting. But that explanation barely scratches the surface. Because what you're experiencing isn't just discomfort, it's your nervous system speaking a language most people never learn to hear. Crowds aren't just people. They're unpredictability, stimulation, emotional noise, and invisible social demands all happening at once. And your brain is wired to notice every single one. At a neurological level, your brain is constantly scanning for safety. In calm environments, this happens quietly in the background. But in crowded spaces, the alarm system turns up its volume. Too many faces to read. Too many movements to track. Too many emotional signals colliding. For people with sensitive or highly perceptive nervous systems, this isn't background noise, it's overload. Your brain doesn't know which signals matter, so it treats everything as important. This sensitivity often starts early. Many people who hate crowds grew up learning to read rooms before they spoke. You may have learned to sense mood shifts, tension, unspoken rules. Maybe you needed to stay emotionally safe. Over time, that awareness became automatic. You don't just see people, you feel them. And in a crowd, there's too much to feel at once. There's also a quieter truth beneath the surface. Crowds erase individuality. They blur faces into masses. For someone who values depth, meaning, and authentic connection, that can feel unsettling. You don't want to be a body in a sea of bodies. You want to be seen, known, understood, and crowded places rarely offer that. They ask you to perform, to navigate invisible social rules. To exist without grounding, psychology often links crowd aversion to introversion, but that's only part of the story. Introversion is about how you recharge. Yes, but this goes deeper. This is about emotional permeability. Your brain doesn't filter stimulation efficiently. Instead of tuning things out, you take things in. Sounds hit harder. Movements distract more. Emotions linger longer. So while others feed off the energy of crowds, you're slowly depleted by them. And yet, there's a strange guilt that comes with this. You watch people thrive in concerts, festivals, packed rooms. You wonder why you can't just relax. Why your body reacts before your mind has time to reason. You may even push yourself to stay longer than you should, afraid of seeming rude or broken. But your body always tells the truth first. The exhaustion, the irritability, the need to retreat and recover. Crowds also remove control. You can't predict who will bump into you, speak too loudly near you, or demand your attention. For people who value autonomy and emotional safety, that lack of control feels threatening. Your brain isn't being dramatic, it's trying to protect you from overwhelm. And when protection becomes constant, avoidance can start to look like peace. But here's where it gets complicated. There's a healthy side to hating crowded places. It often means you value quality over quantity, depth over noise, intimacy over spectacle. You prefer conversations that breathe, spaces that allow thought, environments where your nervous system can rest. In a world addicted to stimulation, your preference for calm is not a flaw, it's wisdom. At the same time, there's a shadow side that deserves honesty. Sometimes crowd avoidance isn't just about comfort. It's about fear that grew quietly over time. Each time you leave early and feel relief, your brain learns that escape equals safety. The outside world becomes sharper, louder, more threatening than it actually is. Not because it changed, but because your tolerance shrank. This is how the world slowly gets smaller. Not suddenly, not dramatically. Just one declined invitation at a time. One exit strategy too many. And while your home or quiet spaces feel like refuge, there can also be a subtle sadness underneath. A sense that life is happening somewhere else, behind glass. People who hate crowded places often live between two truths. You don't want chaos, but you don't want isolation either. You crave connection, just not at the cost of your nervous system. You want presence, not pressure. Belonging, not blending in. And that's a hard thing to explain in a culture that equates loud with alive. There's also empathy at play. Crowds magnify emotions. Excitement turns manic. Stress turns contagious. Anger spreads faster than reason. If you're empathetic, you don't just witness this, you absorb it, you carry it home with you. And over time, your mind learns that crowded places aren't just tiring, they're emotionally expensive. But listen closely to this part. Guess it matters. Hating crowded places does not mean you're meant to hide from the world. It means you need to engage with it on your own terms. Slowly, gently, with respect for your limits. Growth doesn't come from forcing yourself into overwhelm. It comes from expanding your comfort zone without abandoning yourself inside it. You don't need to become someone who loves crowds. That's not the goal. The goal is learning the difference between self-respect and self-protection, between choosing peace and avoiding life. When you honor your nervous system while still allowing curiosity to guide you, something shifts. You stop fighting yourself. There is strength in knowing what overwhelms you. There is intelligence in choosing environments that allow you to breathe. And there is courage in gently questioning whether avoidance is still serving you or if it's time to let a little more life in. On your own terms, you are not strange for wanting space. You are not broken for needing quiet. You are not weak for listening to your body when it whispers or screams for safety. The world wasn't designed for sensitive nervous systems. But sensitive nervous systems see things others miss. So maybe tonight, in your quiet space, ask yourself this with kindness. Are you avoiding crowded places because they drain you? Or because you've learned to fear your own intensity inside them? And what would it look like to honor your sensitivity without letting it shrink your life? If this resonated, your call to action isn't to force yourself into the noise. It's to understand yourself more deeply and to choose connection that doesn't cost you your peace.